Hi, everyone. It is Carol C.C. Miller, your positivity trainer, peace activator, and global hugger coming to you today for This is Life, Beautiful and Messy. And today I really want to talk about forgiveness and what that means to us, what it means to forgive somebody else. But really, it's more for me about forgiving myself. And before we get into the topic today on a simple, a powerful tool, and of course, it needs to be how you feel, because if you're not feeling it, then it's not going to be working for you. But before we get into my tool, what I've just recently started using myself, I'd heard of it many, many years ago, but just recently started using it. Want to do roll call. Where are you guys joining me from? Share in comments if you need a hug to heighten your celebrations or lessen your sorrows, because you know I'm all about the hugs. So let me know where you're joining me from. And if you have any questions on forgiveness or questions on how to remain positive in whatever's going on in your life, share those questions too, and I will try to answer them as we go. Now, again, as I've said many times, being positive does not mean that your life is perfect. It does not mean that things are always working out the way you want them to, but it does mean that you're focusing on the gem in that struggle, in that challenge, because when we look for the good in what we're ever going through, then we're going to create more from that. And I think just in the last several conversations I've had with Tina and different people, the power of forgiveness is something that can be hard for us to do. And a lot of it's because we want to hold on to that story that person did me wrong or whatever. And, that story may be true. They may have done you wrong. But if you're continuing to hold on to that, you're just bringing it to yourself. It's not affecting them on your being angry with them or sad or hurt by them. So I really encourage you to feel what you need to feel. It's not stuffing those feelings, but it is working through them in a positive way, in a way that's going to bring you peace, and it's going to a way that makes you feel better. Hi, Liz. How do you remain positive when people you love are ill or starting to transition? Oh my goodness, that is a great question. And I will get to that because I really think even today's practice is going to help with that. One thing that I would say, Liz, is I actually know Liz, and it's so interesting because it's so easy. Hi, Danielle. It's so easy when it's somebody else that we love, whether it's an illness or a transition. I can go into worry quicker than anything when something comes up with my mom. But at the end of the day, everyone has their own experience in life. I can give you tips on being more positive. I can walk through the journey with you on helping you see things in a more peaceful, positive, compassionate way. But it's still your choice to decide how you want to move through it. And even when people are asking for prayer on health and wellness or something like that, I always add for the highest good of all involved, because I may think it's the highest good for my loved one to recuperate and become healthy again. It may be for their highest good that it's their time to go. Now, it's a tough one when it comes to those we love. Trust me, like I just said a few moments ago, when it comes to my mom, who I'm very close to, I can go into worry quicker than anybody. And I know it doesn't serve me. Worry doesn't serve her. So the more I can step out of it, the better we're all going to be through that process that we're going through. So today I wanted to talk about this. It's not a new technique. It's been around for many, many years. Oh, you're right, Liz. It's incredibly painful. It's not fun, but if you can look for the blessings in it and focus on the joys of what has gone on your memories with that person, and know that they're still connected to you, whether they're here physically or whether they're now gone into the spiritual realm. I recently just had some experiences with my father, who passed away almost 11 years. Would I like him back today instead of having those experiences? Absolutely, but I can't bring him back that way. So the more I can focus on the joy and happiness that he brought to my life while he was alive, and what he brings to my life from a different experience, the more I can see it that way. But I wanted to go into this practice. It's a Hawaiian practice. It's an ancient practice, and I may pronounce it wrong. I wish BJ, a friend of mine who lives in Hawaii, was on right now, because she would tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's called Oponopono, and it's H-O Ho'oponopono. And what it is it says, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Ho'oponopono. So if you just say that a few times, or say it in the English version of, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And it goes back to, this practice is, again, ancient, but what it goes back to is releasing those feelings that you have, and it's internal. And a gentleman, a doctor, I wrote his name down, Hewlin, Dr. Hewlin, was 30 years ago. He was asked to go into a Hawaiian clinic that dealt with criminally insane people. But prior to going in to see them, and they were violent people, prior to going in to see them, he looked at all of their records and read them all and saw their childhood hurts and saw them as people rather than these violent villains, that the acts that they had occurred to create them to be in this prison. And so he would do that prayer, so to speak, the Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono. And he would do that over each one of the different records that he read. And he was bringing peace and kindness and forgiveness to himself for the judgments he had on these people without knowing their full story. And if you've joined me before, you know that I will say, just because you may have done something wrong and it's not my job to judge you, we all have consequences to what we do. So these people were dealing with their consequences. They were in a criminally insane place. And then when he went to visit them, apparently these patients, or I don't know, they're criminals, when he went to visit them, they were not violent with him. They were able to speak with him, and he was able to see them. So it's a really powerful tool that you can say, you know, I would even encourage you to try it out when you're not really ready to let go of the story. Like when you want to be mad at somebody, and I get there, I promise you I do. There's times that I'm like, I'm just not ready to forgive. You know, I'm mad. The situation, we all go through situations that it could be a very tiny little forgiveness, or it could be a really traumatic big situation that we've gone through that requires forgiveness. But the forgiveness is for us more than it is for the other person. Because if we're holding on to that resentment, that anger, that disappointment, that sadness, that fear, it's just filling up our own body with resentment, with anger, with disappointment and fear. So go back to how you feel. Do you feel good when you're thinking about how angry you are with somebody and disappointed you are with somebody? Or does that feel like it's constricting you? And I haven't given the tips yet, but one of them, of course, is to take some deep breaths when you're going through anything that is bringing you less than joy, because it's all about returning to your own power, to let yourself shine, to send love to others who may be coming from a state of fear, and to try using Ho'oponopono. It's really about forgiving yourself, forgiving over your power to somebody else to hurt your feelings, to hurt you physically, or whatever it is. The more you can focus on you. I would love to be able to go and change people, so to speak, to make them happier or to make them see the beauty in themselves. And the best way I can do it is to emulate it myself, to be that happy person, to be that person who comes from love. I do come from fear. I have fearful moments every day of my life, but I am so keenly aware of it because of the work that I do. I step back and I remind myself, this fear does not feel good. What can I do to change it? And sometimes it's just a tiny switch of being aware and I change it immediately. Sometimes it's a bigger thing that I'm concerned about and it takes a little bit more. But I am going to start using Ho'oponopono daily on my practice to see if that helps break up any kind of fear-based thoughts that I have, any kind of unworthiness thoughts that I may have, and just really forgive myself, forgive others, knowing we're all showing up in the best possible light in the moment. And we're all here because we all want to be loved. We all want to have laughter in our lives. We all want health. We all want safety, and we all want security. So think about ways that you can bring those to yourself and emulate them out to others. So really, Ho'oponopono, and try that. I would love to hear back from you. Maybe give it a week and let me know how it's worked. I really feel the impact myself. Again, the work that I do requires me to spend as much time thinking about my thoughts and reframing anything that isn't working for me. So I know that I'm far more deeply involved in forgiveness and kindness and compassion than most people, but it's right there at your fingertips. I am not different than you, other than the fact that I study it more because it's a practice that I've chosen to create in my life. It's, if you're studying something else, you're further along that path than I am on whatever is your passion and purpose. But my passion and purpose is to remind you that you are worthy and that you matter in this world, and that I'm here to heighten your celebrations and lessen your sorrows through a positive focus. So breathe deeply when you're getting into an anxious space, because you need that oxygen to fill your body to make better decisions for yourself. As Liz was talking about, and I go there myself, so I appreciate her bringing it up. We cannot create for another person. We can send love to another person. We can hold them at their highest vision and see them as their highest selves instead of focusing on what they've done wrong, which is so easy to do. So we can help them along that way, but it's still their path. And the more we focus on our path, the more we're going to emulate for them to see the beauty in themselves, to see the beauty in the world, to bring beauty to places that are hurting and suffering right now. It's a challenging choice sometimes to focus on kindness. It requires some great strength because it's really easy to go into how dare they do something rather than bringing love to it and figuring out a way to bring a positive solution to some challenging situations that are going on in our own lives and in the world. So when you're seeing outwardly things that are not working well in the world, ask yourself, what in your own world can you do to create a little bit more peace and happiness in your world? Oponopono is one of my recommendations, is to give that a try. See if that's going to make you feel any better. I know just in the couple of days that I've started doing it, I like that. Maria, I feel like I'm healing myself. You are healing yourself, Maria. You're the one who has that ability. I can be there to support you, and I can be there to shine light on you and to be your cheerleader and coach, but it is you. You're the one who's in charge of this. So you get that power because you are that power. So congratulations, Maria. I really appreciate that. You're so very welcome, Linda. Thank you so much for joining me today, because really that's what I'm here for, is to help people see the good in themselves and the good in the world, because there's a lot out there to be seen if we look for it. I just wanted to quickly say in a couple of weeks is Global Free Hugs, so please, I'll put a link there that you can sign up and join me for Global Free Hugs. It's all around the world. It's simple to do. I will personally be in Santa Fe at a conference for Mike Dooley speaking at that event, so I'll post a link there for you to come join us. We're talking about infinite possibilities and how you can live a life with infinite possibilities. And then where I'm not going to be, but I usually am, is at a conference in Phoenix called the International Women's Summit. And again, it's going to be bringing hundreds and hundreds of women around the world together to talk about empowering themselves and how they can show up as their best self in life. Several different workshops and keynotes. I don't have the list in front of me, but like Elizabeth Gilbert is one of them. Lisa Ling is one of them. Marianne Williamson is one of them. There are so many powerful women, and I'm usually involved in that event. This time I have two events going on at one time, so it's pretty fun to have to make those choices as well. Carol, from where? I am from Chicago, Illinois is where I'm at. Maria, where are you at? So I live in the central part of the country and travel when I need to for the work I do. And I hope this was helpful. If it was, please share. I will be back tomorrow talking with Tina. And I'm not sure what our conversation is going to be, but I can guarantee it will be something to heighten your celebrations and lessen your sorrows. I'm working on a lot of other interviews to bring other people to you that can share their message of how they focus on the compassion, the kindness, and the love in their own personal lives and in the world. It's really all about your focus. It's so easy for us to go into a space of focusing on what we don't want when it's right in front of us. But I promise you, you are so worthy of focusing on the love that's in your heart, the love that's around you, and the love that is in the world. So go out there, have a great day. I will see you tomorrow at noon. And remember, you matter. You matter to me. you matter to the world, and most importantly, you matter to you. I'm going to go into comments and join you there to give some virtual hugs, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.